which was a perfect fit. She's already aware of meetings, she's already been other meetings of congregation, and she cared more about Eden than any other pastor we could have hired did. So from there we started our plans to grow, and Carol can attest that our building was finding us every step of the way with small, medium, and large repairs that we fought through. And I think the turning point in my mind was when we knew the parsonage roof had to get replaced. We wanted to replace the parsonage roof, and we were finally able just to do it. We had the funds available, and we could go ahead and do something we know we needed to do, and we did it. And so from there, we continued plans to grow and open the building to use this church as an asset instead of just sitting here doing nothing. And from there, we fought on, and then, the roof came up, and it was no more band-aids. You have to do the roof repair. There's no getting around it. And so, we had to decide, do we use or not. Again, overwhelmingly, we're going to fight, and we're going to fight to exist. And so we started the most intense and overwhelming capital improvement campaign the church has ever seen. And so we're making good progress, opening our doors and making our building work for us. And then COVID hit. So now the congregation had to fight to see how we can stay relevant in a society now where everyone's at home. And we had to continue carrying on this capital improvement campaign when we couldn't really do anything to bring people in to donate. And so, with Zoom and David's help, we did the keeping relevant in people's eyes, and donations kept coming in. And maybe it was people had more disposable income because we couldn't do anything, but people liked what we were doing there, and they donated. And so the roofs were replaced, and the pipes were repaired, and we did creative solutions with the line of credit to make sure we can get it all done and continue our mission to serve our congregation and the people of Jefferson Park. And so, when I look back, when we started, we were kind of this corner church that a lot of people weren't aware that we were open still. And we turned into a vibrant church with our doors open in the community. People know we're here. And when Sarah mentioned her opportunity today, I realized not only are we just open and vibrant and serving the community, with Cole coming through our congregation, Sarah coming through our congregation, we're developing the next talent in the community. So, the next leaders in other churches are coming through me, and that's pretty powerful. And it wouldn't be without the work of our council, our members, and friends of Eden, and just complete strangers that we made this happen. And so, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all for what was accomplished in these 7 years. And I just can't wait to see what the future brings. All right.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rowing the boat in the same direction was a metaphor that Ed gave us, as Dave said in his sermon. I thought it was fitting that it followed the tenure of the president who Jackie nicknamed Captain. Every church has seasons of up and down, and busyness and rest, believe it or not. And your pastor hopes that over the coming weeks of this summer, that not only she, but you will experience some necessary rest, even though big things are happening in the building. My pastor's report is there following Ed's in the packet. Some of you may know that each business meeting cycle, I wait to see what lands on my heart for kind of a verse of the day. And really this week it was grace, 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 grace. And my real deep sense that in all that we are doing here, that it is of a deeper significance than keeping a building open, a deeper significance than keeping a ministry serving, a deeper significance than loyalty to the amazing people of the past. That there's this vitality that is involved in a growing organism. Whether that growth is measured in numbers of bodies or not, right? If there's a vitality that you can feel when you walk in, that these people are glad to be here. They weren't dragged here by duty or nostalgia. They're glad to meet new people and to deepen relationships with one another. And maybe even we are glad to be growing spiritually in what it means to be people of grace. So yeah, being stewards of grace was on my mind as I centered in and thought about the activities of the last 6 months and thinking about the upcoming months. So you see there in the ministry summary, a way that I always organize activities is around kind of the outline of my contract, where we talk about the congregations and my partnership in each of these areas. And this is just a way of tracking for you and my sense of accountability to you, the kinds of things that I invested in over the last 6 months in these parts of our ministry. So I'll just pause here for a moment before a couple of concluding thoughts, and I'd be delighted if you have any questions about anything, or if there's something on this sheet that they didn't actually even know we were doing, or that I was doing, and maybe something you want to talk about after the meeting even to learn more about. I find it helpful to kind of gather these things together in one place. And for me, it's partly celebrating the holistic nature of our ministry, right? That it's not only Sunday mornings, and that it's not only people who are currently official voting members, but that we have this sense of influence and a sense of interdependence day in and day out as witnesses on declaring medicine. Any thoughts or questions about stuff here, individual things or the proportion of things? I generally don't have a complaining bone in my body, generally. Some people think that I'm swearing more and complaining more since I got back from sabbatical, which I think is a bad sign. I think it means I'm a little bit more in touch with some of my emotions on days that feel particularly demanding. So I want to be honest about that. When I write these things out, and I see the disproportionate length of the paragraphs, where there's such a significant administrative load, right? Those are days that feel a little tender for me. Not complaining, not complaining. I feel like I've said yes in an obedient spirit to do what's necessary in this season of God's overall and God's refueling and retooling us. And I happen to love some of that administrative stuff. So one of the things that means is sometimes I really want to carry a little bit more of that because I love it and I want to make things easy for you. I just feel so protective of you and your energy, and I want to contribute to some of those matters of administrative tethering. I really want to say out loud that it would be helpful in the coming months. This is not a crisis, not an urgent thing. I feel like we're in a season where we may be at the beginning or a few steps into kind of remaking some kind of map of divisions of labor, or models. How do tiny churches like us stay afloat and thrive like we're thriving with such limited resources? And I want to say that so many of colleagues' churches have closed with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars more in the bank. Closed because they couldn't deal with the administrative challenge before then. I feel like I'm starting to sense with the kind of mental map maybe for us, which is that we could be a lesson to other churches about what it means to have staff or interns or official volunteers with expertise carry some of the administrative type load that can be so overwhelming for members without taking them or the leaders of the congregation are giving direction, but that there's resourcing for some of this, the kind of stuff you see in administrative. So I don't know what that means. It's some creative thinking that I've been doing, and I wanted to call attention to it because I want to be in partnership with you all in solution conversations. All right, that is it for the pastor. Oh no, I have to say one more thing. Thank you everyone for a spectacular anniversary weekend celebration. And I want to say a special thank you to Jean for the week after our anniversary celebration. Spending a few hours here in this room with a woman whose family has history here at the church. We had some of the archives still up on purpose for her, and he guided her through some of our other stuff. And she wrote the most beautiful, tender thank you email about how we welcomed her and how you made her feel, and these family connections. And so that sense of being connected to our extended family and maybe our role of serving some of those people, in addition, of course, the new members here in the neighborhood, of course. But I carry in my heart that idea of how do events like our anniversary and opportunities like connecting to our archives serve to bless people who have some family issues. Thank you for that lesson. That's all.
Before we move on, is there any lower speed on that unit? It makes it a little bit quieter here, it's really hard to hear.
And the woman that was here, her last name was Altergut. So if you're connected to an Altergut or Schneider, you're probably a relative too.
Okay, Sarah, you're up.
Okay.
We'll do sustainable solutions and.
Yes. Yeah, so if you look at, the report I have, it also has sustainable solutions in it. So I know on the agenda, that's, do you want me to be closer to it?
Stand on this side of the mic.
Stand on this side, okay. Does that sound like better?
It actually sounds much better.
Slow down a second. So both those things are in the same thing, even though on the agenda, there's two different ones. My report, you look over it, I definitely highlighted a lot of our outreach over the last 6-ish months. That included our neighborhood breakfast that several of you attend. That usually includes 8 to 12 neighbors, depending on the day, which is on Thursdays for breakfast, if anyone would like to join, at 9:15. In addition to that, we've had a couple events here in the last 6 months, including a faith leaders breakfast and interreligious breakfast, along with CPD. And then we had our things with the Sustainable Solutions, which is the thing, if you all remember, 2-ish years ago, we voted to have our main project be Eden Open, looking to bring more of our neighbors into our work here at Eden. That's an organization that looks at finding sustainable solutions for your building and finding ways for your building to work for you and not having to be kind of a drain on ministry. Sorry, what are you doing?
Nice. He did it.
Okay. So with that project, we continue to be focused on the goal of identifying new space shares for building. Hope to have a few new people we're in conversation with relatively soon. And also want to give special thanks to Tina and to Mike Breyer for joining our work in that. I know you're being recruited for a committee, but and then lastly, Bridge and Jeff Park. In the last 6 months-ish, we've started regularly meeting once a month, alternating like a weekday evening and then Saturday, getting neighbors in to discuss different community events we want to work on, still focused on issues around unhoused neighbors and our newer neighbors that we're working with. Last year, And we hope to have more community events with them in the next couple months. All of that, does anyone have any questions, or does anyone who's on any of those committees have any comments on things?
I just want to give a thanks to Mike Dwyer, who jumped in to help Gina very shortly after, on helping us move the needle on a goal to be more proactive in publicizing our desire to have space sharers join us that are in a more long-term journey, at the offices upstairs or down the road, another congregation perhaps. And it is Mike and Maurice Ren Thomas, who's an artist and needs some quiet thinking space, who's going to be moving into our second floor office on the west side. And so we're so grateful for that connection.
Yes. Do I need to repeat any of that for Zoom? No. No one else has questions?
Sarah, we'll move on to Christian Ed. Claire?
On this side. No, just you just need to stand next. We're using the mic out of the camera, so you should just stand close to your
Yeah. Can everybody hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we've had a great year, a terrific year with the CE board. We've been, Nora and I are co-chairs, and she has been a fireball in getting a lot of things done and instituting a lot of things. And I can't thank Nora and Mike enough for their efforts and everybody else that has been helping out. So that includes everybody ranging from Pastor Jackie to Sarah to our, I guess I could call them angels. We have volunteers that help out with our space, which is our after-school program, that have been very faithful and very reliable. We've had a few parents helping out. The program has blossomed from about eight kids to now about 30. Actually, we have, I think, 35 enrolled, or actually registered. They don't all come every week, but we had 30 on our last art space after school of the year, which was a couple of weeks ago now. So anyway, we have the, as all of you probably know, we have been revamping the rec room upstairs, and Nora and company have did a great job, and I want to thank everybody for that. Getting everything moved out of there and getting the room ready to have the asbestos tile removed and a new floor put in. But Nora and with some of my help and others also have reorganized the other rooms and pretty much all of the CE materials that we've had, which dated back from quite a while ago, and we even had some stuff from downstairs. We've gone through all of those things and have really, weeded out a lot of stuff. Nora tirelessly took a lot of the stuff, some of the art supplies home, and had her kids try them out to make sure, check all the markers and make sure that they're working and things like that. So she's really been, like I said, irreplaceable. So we have CE activities for church. We have Kids for the Kids now. Those have been getting pretty good regular use as I've been seeing more young faces in church on Sunday. We have rally day plans coming up. That will be the weekend of September 7th and 8th. We are looking at doing a rally day activity more on the 7th, on Saturday the 7th, because we also have the Congregational Church who is going, they're going to have their big picnic on that Sunday. So these are still in the works, but we're getting there. We had a we're also planning that the pancake breakfast for that weekend. And then Fun Camp, as probably you already know, Fun Camp was great. We had 34 students the first week, 31 the second week. I got countless compliments from parents who were just so overjoyed and happy to have a place to send their kids that they enjoyed so much. We had a couple of kids that were already on like Wednesday or Thursday where they were getting bummed out and actually in tears because camp was coming to an end the next day. So I am planning some summer fun days events, which are just single day, like do a field trip, do an activity kind of thing. We did some of this last year. One event was going to Wayland Pool, another one was Dave's Rock Shop in Evanston, which has proven to be quite a hit. And there's a park near there that the kids just love called Iden Park, which is Eden with an I after the E. But anyway, it's been really a wonderful year. I've been so pleased with everything that we have had going on, and to see the joy on the faces of the kids, and and gratitude on the faces of the parents. So we have other summer and fall events being planned. Our camp nights continue, campfire nights with Scary Larry stories and s'mores and cool drinks and so forth. And we're going to run those like every 4 to 6 weeks. We'll have one in July and probably one in August. And then we'll continue into the fall. And then when the weather gets cold, we'll kind of transition into the movies and game nights, which are indoors. So anyway, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to add? Okay.
David, do you have any report?
I first have to thank Debbie Thomas, Penny Dahmer, in my constant absence in the winter. They have taken care of everything. Zach, of course, is out in Iowa all the time, and we're going to be fortunate after his graduation come December, he's going to get stuck more with stuff. And I'm meeting Zach has been with the Zoom and such, but special thanks to the ladies. As they always say, behind a person, a man, is always good ladies, so thank you. I appreciate it. The diagram, as you can see on the report, I'm not going to go through all things. We deal basically with assisting the pastor in spiritual affairs, the membership of the church and such. Several years ago, we did, it's a hard decision to make, but we had to do it with members who were not present and absent, and it took about 2 years and tried to be very delicate, and that won't be coming for a while, but we're going to try to make sure we're bringing in the members of the church who have been absent for a period of time and seeing what we can do to help them become part of the church service itself. Also trying to bring in more people into the in-service church service itself. The Zoom is great for many people, but it's also great to see people and be part with them. The diagonal, of course, there's a list of things here. We take care of all the communion, setting up the communion. We set up the banners. We change the altar cloths. We take care of and speaking of the communion, we're going to, in the process, this year was the first year we've been dealing without the self-contained packages. We were trying a different process where we now coming up to the altar, having intinction, and gluten-free bread, gluten-free, and orange juice and such. And we're going to be talking about whether or not to have wafers somehow with this. We're looking into gluten-free wafers and such. But for anybody who does have a gluten-free problem, you know it's very expensive to buy a loaf of bread. It's almost $7. It's all over the world. Anything gluten-free, I don't know what their problem is. But anybody has to buy all this extra stuff is very difficult in the little pocketbook for people who are gluten-free. I feel sorry for them. But anyway, we're going to try to continue with that process. But we were very happy for this year to have the in-patron and coming back up to the altar and getting rid of the self-contained packages. I do have some priest friends who, in discussing with them, they are still in the quandary as to they don't know what to do at their services. They just do the wafer. They are not doing anything with wine or anything else, but they don't know how to follow the COVID example. Nobody has really come up with anything. And so we're still trying to maintain a COVID-free package. As you know, the bread is quite long and the slight dip won't create a problem. So we keep that in mind as we are doing this. We are trying to, as I said, increase our membership, and that's about it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Next up, Carol, with the trustee's report.
As you can see, we've got a busy summer set up for us for repairs and some cleanups to the building. First off, we've got the asbestos removal in the rec room upstairs. That's going to take place this Wednesday and Thursday. And again, I know it's been mentioned before, but special kudos to Ed and Debbie Thomas and Mike and Nora yesterday for doing 80% of the work up there. And we're looking for another date soon, after the floor is installed and settled, that we can move those items back in. That date will be forthcoming, and that goes in e-blast as well. The installation of the floor is set for July 8th, which is a Monday. They want us to keep off of that floor for like a week or so the glue all settles, especially with the warm weather. We have exterior tuck pointing being completed on the east and north walls of the building sometime later this month or early July. That will be followed up with some interior tuck pointing on the east wall under the basketball standard, where we have some failing cinder blocks due to the leaking on the outside walls. So that's going to be done, like I said, early July or so. Fortune is coming here also at some point over the summer to strip off the paint on the Gunston Street sanctuary doors, as well as refinishing and staining and coating the doors to their original paintless condition, which will be very beautiful. And Fortune is donating these services in memory of Aaron Relangine, our late office secretary. Special thanks and kudos to the owners of Fortune, Robert and Elizabeth Fortune, and Bernie Halloran, Aaron's dad, who works for Fortune and was a project manager who oversaw the painting and plastering repairs in the sanctuary. Thank you so much to Fortune and Bernie for all your work.
That is awesome.
So the stripping and waxing floors in the gymnasium and fellowship hall, the kitchen and the entries, total cost of resource of $3,126. This work is going to be scheduled for sometime in mid-July after the installation of the new flooring in the rec room, and then when we have time to move those items back in, which will be late July, early August. We also have another repair coming up this summer. We've got a boiler leak in the water line. Cost of this is $930, and I was made aware this morning that a donation has been made by Mr. Gene Schnarr for repairs to the Forget-Me-Not Fund for repairs specifically for this boiler repair. So Gene, thank you very much. We had a situation with our Caroline not working for several months, maybe 3 or 4 months. And I want to thank David Chernich, Mike Edens, and Ed Loreni, who took it upon themselves to go up into the tower and found that there was a chewed wire by a squirrel that leads up to the Caroline speakers that was repaired. And the next phase is to, that project will be the installation of additional boards and wire mesh to prevent future incursions of any critters. Let's see here. Got some people I have to thank. Nolan Sherry Brooks contacted me a week ago and offered the services of their landscaping people to come and cut the grass for the months of July and August. So, huge thanks to them for saving this old man and his old legs and his old sweaty body for the months of July and August. Other people have to thank. Brenda Smith, our friend, our insurance mogul, who we rely on so much for her expertise. I was made aware this week she's made a donation of $3,000 to the rehabilitation of the record. There's a myriad of lists that we have. We've created a repair list of phase 1, 2, and 3 for building repairs that need to be made. I didn't have that made for everyone today because it's very extensive. But our challenge continues to take care of our old friend here. We seem to have one thing repaired and something else pops up. So we've tried to prioritize repairs as needed to keep things going. We know the basement is still an issue for us, and our boiler is an issue, but they're in the phase plans that we have 1, 2, and 3. So thank you all for your help, and your donations, and your labors, all of you, for all your continued help. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, Jackie and I are going to tag team the financials for this meeting. I guess first I'd just like to make sure everyone's aware that, so we're currently in a transition from the old Power Church platform to One Church. So you kicked off the 30-day trial a few weeks ago.
A few days ago.
So currently, like whenever you start a new platform, we're going through all the different categories we have and all the different buckets, making sure they're still relevant, seeing if we can consolidate and make things simpler. So we're going to try to do the simplification, and today you'll see that we tried to simplify the presentation, and just for knowledge, most of the data today is kind of outside either one of the platforms because we're transitioning. So this is more Excel spreadsheet work at the moment, but the eventual, everything will be in One Church. Anything to add there?
No, perfect.
Okay. So I guess just jumping into the numbers in consciousness of time. So current material resources. So undesignated funds are funds that we don't have plans for at the moment. So you can see that value, the checking savings and the CD only. And then the material resources are the savings plus the designated funds, which are earmarked for a specific bucket. And those.
And that was specifically the slide that we issued a correction about, because this slide is actually about our overall income over the last 6 months, and so that line, calling it savings designated, wouldn't that be lovely if we had $75,000 in savings?
So that's.
Yeah, so that.
This funds in over what's. Okay. And then the other material resources are scholarship fund, Christian Ed, and Forget Me Not, which balances total to 10K. And physical assets, we own the building, the land, and then the lot next door, which we use for our line of credit. And speaking of that line of credit, I think we were at like 82 or 83K when we were first.
We borrowed it, yeah, almost $83,000.
And so that we have paid down to 45K. And I guess the good news is if you skip over to line or slide 10, which is on the next page. So we were gonna tap into the line of credit for the floor in the rec room. We've been able to work some things through our savings, so that we won't need to tap into that. So we're stretching that, so you'll see that the income was 75K, the expenses were 59, but now that is 79K. If you wanna make that, it's 79,818. Expenses because we're able to use funds on hand to pay for that first round of repairs, so that's good. And I guess the last pie chart is just a breakdown of all the expenses for the first 6 months of the year. And these actually go with the January or June 15th.
Yeah, so that slide actually was made through May 31st. That was the easiest way for Sue to run the numbers. And then if you add the expenses that have happened since June 1st, that is an additional $20,136 in the month of June because of the significant payments related to the rec room and to the insurance. So when you saw that slide on slide number 4, that the income was through 6/16. I'm sorry, I'm back on slide 10, sorry about that. The emailed and printed slide that's on your packet in slide 10 doesn't include the June expenses. So that makes our bottom line, if you add in those June expenses, income to date, 75,259, expenses to date, 79,818.76 cents because of what we had to spend in June.
Okay, and then I guess the granular detail of all the income and expenses is in the next few sheets. You want to take a moment to peruse through that.
Ed's first word starting out about us being in this limbo time between software platforms was well placed. It's kind of overwhelming and tedious to be transitioning to new software. If you've had a part of that, you know what that is. But it's also a refreshing opportunity to kind of clear the decks and maybe fix or clarify or start over in ways. In terms of simplification, we want the most robust, detailed reporting with the simplest way to digest things. So that was our thinking in putting together this detailed sheet called Finance Presentation Notes. If you follow the numbered categories, general operations from individual gifts, general operations from fundraisers, operational money that is actually specifically for the building, etc. We put income that has come in through the third week of June under those categories, even though the income came in from different streams. So we're experimenting with what does it need to look like on a page so we can really easily get it. We're thankful forever for the tortured, meticulous mind of David Angel that got us through the last decade on Power Church. I wish he could share in some of the joy of these improvements. Hey, do you want to share in some of the joys of the new platform?
Wait, he dropped. How
He dropped. Gail, Steve.
I'm just joking.
David, you want to share in some of the joy of the new platform? Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
Any
okay.
questions?
Well, I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself.
What do you say?
I was trying to figure out how to unmute myself. I forgot to hit say, yeah, we're recording. So, no, it sounds like we're making positive change. And yeah, I was trying to find the way to react to laugh when you said the tortured mind of David Angel. So, I'm really
I meant the tortured mind of David Angel. I meant to immediately add meticulous.
No, I'm just really glad to hear how everything's been going at the church. I do follow along and I'm keeping a close eye as much as I can on how things are going. Also taking a nice, much needed break away from some of the numbers. So I understand all the work that's going into the transition and all the hard work going into making sure that our financials are even stronger. And I think the more we do that, the more opportunities we have, like the grants we've been applying to and getting in things like that. So I just want to give a big applause to everyone that's been doing such good work. I'm glad to see the transition is going well, but also I understand some of the various frustrations and hiccups along the way that will be present too. So just happy to see things moving along.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dave has just offered affirmation and goodwill.
Okay, with that, I will look for a motion to approve the finance and treasurer's minutes as presented. All in favor, sorry, I was listening. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, treasurer's minutes approved. Penny, did you want me to cover forget me not, or did you? Okay, so, forget me not, current savings account balance of 1,931. Checking account, 4,097, total gifts of 2,900, and who?
The balance is 65.97,
65.97.
but we can't use all that for whatever we want. Roughly half of that is set aside for music fees.
Okay, so it's Maria Beckman's set aside for organ and music ministry. Okay, I think that's it for finance, so we move on to,
Can I make one other comment that I forgot to make? Jake, you made it there for me. Another special donation was made this morning by Ed and David Thomas, $500 to replace the table tennis table up in the record. Thank you, Ed and Debbie.
Thank you, Dave and Debbie Thomas, for a gift this morning to replace the ping pong table upstairs. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you.
And then just the scholarship one, that's there, the last page, that's fine. Scholarship,
going to,
can I just keep going or back?
That's not everything.
okay.
Oh, I was just gonna add that scholarship committee or the scholarship fund was started roughly probably 30-some, 40 years ago by a donation for people going into the ministerial school. But then it was opened up to all college student members of the church and such. And for the past years, I'm gonna guess and say roughly has given out scholarships roughly about $35,000 to $40,000. So it's it's kind of small and it's dwindling away, but it's helping and it has helped.
And James gave some history about the scholarship funding started for ministry. And over the years, it's opened up to all college students, and probably about $35,000 has been donated to our youth for their schooling. Current savings balance is $429, and we have a CD of $4,737. Okay. That, give you the floor for nominating.
Over the past 3 weeks or so, along with Pastor Jackie, Dave C., and also Linda Skirt, many of you have received phone calls or emails, text messages from us, and from the bottom of our hearts, gratitude for all of the yeses, and even the thoughtful decisions of no responses to, and considering what you can take on in your own life and the ways that you can contribute here at Eden, as so many of you do in so many ways. You wear so many different hats. As over the past few years, we've had to be very creative in the way that we view some of the positions and the terms as well. You'll see some notes printed in this report just about how we've had to kind of be a little bit more flexible in some of our thinking and making some adjustments to meet the needs of members, but also fulfilling the roles that we need to here as well. We still have a few open positions as well, so as you read through, if anything speaks to you, please feel free to talk to any of the members of the nominating committee. We're happy to chat by phone, email, text, anything that you might be wondering or ways that you might be able to serve. We're trying to think of as many creative solutions as possible because we know all of you are already giving in so many ways in your service to us. Can't think of anything else that I want to add. Does anybody have any questions about the slate that we currently have? One of our big gaps right now is secretary, so if that's anything, yeah?
I volunteer as secretary.
has been an ongoing message between us, and we said, hopefully a secretary will appear. Got it.
Trevor, next.
You forgot to hand that email.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's a sheet too that kind of outlines some of the work that goes along with the role of the treasurer as things are being kind of transferred over into this new system. There's a little bit of a turnover transfer period right now. The Pastor Jackie and our office manager, they're working on it together. So if you have questions about that, we can chime in too. Thank you.
Okay, no other questions, I look for a motion to approve the amended slate of leaders.
So,
Second.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, so I guess so what we're gonna do is we consider all leaders' terms start today. We're gonna do the formal ceremony to recognize the leaders relative. Okay, so moving on to, do we have any new business section that you'd like to cover? Or does anyone have
I
any
do
new
not
business?
have any business, I'm taking a stand at the mic for announcements.
Any new business? No, we'll move on to the announcements.
All right, first, some relevant announcements about the next couple of months, and then we'll poll the room and see whether we're doing team time before the benediction or after the benediction, Mr. President. We're really excited to be once again having a joint service with our friends at Redeemer of Calvary down the block and our friends at Congregational Church of Jefferson Park, soon to get a rock star pastor. Our next service is July 7th. We're going to basically repeat an amazing service that is patriotic music in the right worshipful key that we did a few years ago. That's the 7th. Hope you'll join us at Redeemer. Yeah. In August, this hasn't made the printed announcements yet, but I've started a little investigating about what it would look like to have a team of people skip worship on the second and fourth Sunday of August to have an Eden booth at the farmer's market, where we could be the face of our upcoming year, be the face of selling raffle tickets, be the face of cookbooks, other kind of cheerful things. So if you like the idea of that enough to explore whether it could happen, let me know about that. That'd be the second and fourth Sundays of August. Where it's very hot inside our sanctuary. In early September is our annual Rally Day experience. In the last 4 or 5 years, skipping COVID, we've kind of experimented with a multi-day thing. And so Jen will join us again for a prayer service on Thursday night. Larry, I bet there's probably going to be a campfire Friday night, although we haven't officially talked about it yet. The pancake breakfast team, some of you are here. There's movement to do our outward facing, come kids and families, join us, learn about fun at Eden, CE at Eden. There was earlier talk in the year about a rummage sale happening, perhaps also on that day. We're going to be vetting out how realistic that is with other things going on. But Patty's ears are up, waiting to take charge of that. And then because we're going to be so happy and so tired, we're going to say yes to the Congregational Church's invitation for us to worship here and then go have a picnic with them, where they will host us for a cookout. That's the outline of Rally Day that folks will be fleshing out, starting either today or in the coming weeks. Dina, would you come up and join me closer to the mic? The spaghetti dinner that happens every fall, second one past COVID, is going to be on October 19th, Saturday, October 19th. And we think that Saturday, October 5th is the lead possibility of something a little different that won't tap too hard the volunteers of these things or the constituencies of these things, I present to you Dina Walters to tell us why we want to come to a staged reading here.
So, I don't know, like a month or so ago, maybe, I proposed to Pastor Jackie that we potentially hold as a fundraiser a staged reading of Footloose. So for many years I was a member of a theater company called the New Futurists, and for 10 summers we hosted a festival of staged readings of films. And it was so much fun, very simple, very joyful, a lot of comedy, very scrappy, low budget, very simplistic in its joy. So I thought it would be a really fun, very easy fundraiser to put up. And I have a lot of experience in this. I'm going to recruit Lori Mike to help out. And the best part is I don't want to blow my horn too much, but I feel pretty confident that we'll get a really good showing of audience for this. And I say that because for the 10 years that we did the festival with the New Futurists, it was incredibly popular. And I know that if we promote it on all of our social media platforms and amongst my network of fellow theater friends, people will come to see this. They will come. So I hope that we'll go on.
So that's our lead date, depending on other people's participation in their schedules, maybe the Saturday before or after, but that seems to nestle between breakfast and spaghetti dinner. All right? Thank you. Those are the things that I know. I defer to the president, whether you'd like to push through for our idea of some small group planning while we're here together.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll close, and then we'll break into two groups, Sustainable Solutions, and then Rally Day, and Picnic Breakfast over by Deb, and you can handle Sustainable Solutions.
That sounds great. You've been duly installed, everyone nominated and elected. We have a sense of what's coming up in work and play. And I say in the presence of witnesses, don't forget to rest. Let's stand for our benediction. We will do our customary Lord's Prayer. Friends on Zoom, we got you in our hearts. Our hands are pointing to you. The Lord's Prayer and rest be the triumph of hearts. It's a big square. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we do forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Blessed be. Blessed be the tie that binds our hearts in Christian love, our fellowship walking through lives is like to that love. Before our Father's throne, we pour our ardent prayers. Our fears, our hopes, our haste, our love, our comfort, and our cares. So we're just going to experiment possibly if it feels efficient and inspiring to me to connect on this conversation topics. Tina and Sarah and I were here talking about sustainability, some trends in our building usage, how we're trying to improve our contact areas on this as well. Some of these honestly, just want you to know what's going on. So we'll experiment and see.
Before we put, who has the attendance sheet? I will need that to know. Thank you.
10 or 15 minutes.
Okay, well,
it doesn't feel like it's last one.